Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta.
Hello and welcome again to Chanakya. Today we're going to discuss not only the two different worlds, we have the spiritual world and the material world. We want to discuss the two types of people that live in these worlds. There's on one hand we have the followers of God, the angels, the devotees. On the other hand, we have the demons, the devils. But it is not so easy to discriminate between who are the angels and who are the devils these days. Now you get these singers, the country singers in particular. They'll sing songs about Jesus, about going to church, and the next moment they're singing a song about fornication and alcohol, trying to work both sides. But compromise won't do it. That's a bluff. That's material cheating. That's cheating. For personal gain, people are willing to do anything just to make themselves rich and famous. Profit, adoration, and distinction. That's what we're after. Look at America. The so-called Christians. America has ruined the world and Europe. They both contributed to the ruination of the world, really. Christians and so-called Christians in Europe and America, they took great pride that we're the financially strongest countries in the world. We control everything. Unfortunately, the other worlds have followed along behind. But we're all headed for destruction as a result. Those Christians, the Christian worlds who've taken such great pride in their wealth, they're thinking, oh, God has really favored us with this abundance. These rascals are always preaching abundance, abundant life. Now God has taken that abundance and given it to the communists, the people who don't even believe in God. So now, what's your philosophy now? We have to go beyond these mundane conceptions. God is not Walmart in the sky. When we need something, we go to the church and pray. Or Granny's ill, so we go to the church and pray. What about the world wars? The English mothers are going to the church. Okay, I'm making a vow. Every day I'm going to light a candle so my son will come home. And the German mothers and daughters are going to the church, are making a vow. God, I'm lighting this candle every day before you. I know you'll bring my son home from the war. So God is upstairs, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I mean, this is a very low consciousness of God. Very low conception of what God is. God is a person. He knows what we need. He's living in our hearts every second, every millisecond of the day. He's with us. Each of us has a unique relationship with God. That relationship is the most perfect love we will ever know. Every other relationship is only trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Cannot work. Even marriage. What is marriage for? All of these, we have lost the understanding of everything. Why? Because we've forgotten that God is a person. No one preaches it because they don't want the competition. They want to be God. But marriage, God says, all right, God owns everything. We all belong to God. He created us. All women belong to God. All men belong to God. Everything belongs to God. So God says, all right, you want to take one of my women? All right. So you have to marry and promise you're going to faithfully not commit adultery, this and that. We all know the rules and regulations. So God is keeping an eye. He's right there. He will see how if these two persons can stay together and serve each other in my name. Animals don't have to get married. So only people that want to be civilized human beings. Marriage is part of civilization. Perverseness is not civilization. Sense control is part of civilization. So God will see how we perform in this marriage and see, okay, perhaps this person is ready to come back and serve me faithfully. That's a way, the marriage is a way to make a vow and hold it and then prove to God that we are ready to come back and live in this spiritual world. That's the whole crux of the matter. To prepare ourselves for serving God. We are all servants, but that's the last thing we want to be. As we said earlier, man would rather be the king in hell than the servant in heaven. But the servant in heaven, we are subordinate to God, not really servant. God is the wealthiest person in the world. He owns everything in all the three worlds. We are His children. But the children are expected to serve the Father nicely and not rebel, not make headaches for the parents. So we have to prove to God while we're in this human form of life, we can prove to God, if we can prove to God that we are ready to come back to the spiritual world, in what we eat, in what we do, and what we don't drink, and that we don't gamble, and all these nonsense things that lead us into more sin. So sin means things that keep us away from God. So we have to strive, really strive to hold on to these principles. In the midst of all this hellish degradation in Kali Yuga, please understand that there is a way out of this mess. And God has not forgotten us. The latest incarnation that came in this material world was 500 years ago. He was called Lord Chaitanya. He appeared in India. And he was called the Yuga Avatar, who came to explain what we have to do in this Kali Yuga, this low, hellish age of Kali Yuga, which is so degraded. But we still have a golden opportunity to go back to the spiritual world. So Lord Jesus said that he would come again, like a thief in the night. So he has already come. That incarnation was called Lord Chaitanya. He has come and gone, just like a thief in the night, and no one knew. But now you know. So, Lord Chaitanya came here specifically for this age to show us the best way to discriminate which is spirit and which is matter. So this confusion does not arise. So much confusion in Kali Yuga, so many false prophets, so much nonsense going on. But the whole point of everything to begin with is to realize and remember. We have forgotten everything by being in this material world for so many zillions of years. But now we should remember that we're in this human form of life. We're on parole. We can get out of here. We can get out of here. We have to remember this. That God is a person. And we have a special relationship with this person. There are different kinds of love. There's the love between a servant and his master. There's a love between friendship, a very good friendship. There's parental love. There's conjugal love between a husband and wife. So one of those relationships we all have with God. We already have the perfect relationship. But we have to reclaim it. We have to improve our character, just like in this Kali Yuga. Marriage is practically nonsense, useless, because people don't follow their promises. They can't keep their promises. More than a year or two, when the sex life dies, the marriage ends. So we can see that the words of the Lord, many are called, few are chosen. This is not an easy path. But the end result is wonderful. It will never return again to this material world, to birth and death, old age and disease. But if we don't pick up the path, if we don't forge ahead on the path, what have we got to look forward to? Eons and eons of taking birth again and again and again and again. Being in animal bodies, completely frightened of the predator who is trying to eat us. Down to the smallest ant. If you obstruct an ant's path, he dodges. Or if you tap the table, he's afraid and he moves the other way. All of the entities don't want to die. Why? Because inherently we have this desire to go back to the spiritual world and live forever. But sometimes people become so frustrated they take their own lives. But that's also impossible. So if a person comes to the point where he wants to commit suicide, that's good in a way. Depression is good because then we realize we are in hell. But what we should do is seek proper help. Not kill ourselves. We have to be born again, that's true. But if we just kill this body, the spirit cannot die. And we've taken away this body that God has given us to afford us an opportunity to come back to the spiritual world. So if we do that, if we waste this body, then we have to live as a ghost. That's God's rehabilitation program. Because a ghost, like many of these people that kill themselves accidentally or purposely with drugs overdoses and so on. They have a drug problem, obviously. They're addicted. So many things that are addictive in this world. So, if they kill themselves or die in a drunken stupor or in an accident or drug overdose, they have to live in a ghost body for thousands of years. Because a ghost, he has a subtle body. We have the gross body, we can, if we're hungry, we can eat something. But a ghost, he has a subtle body, he cannot satisfy his hunger. He cannot satisfy his need for drugs. So God forces that person into his rehabilitation program, meaning cold turkey. He's got that body, there's no way for him to get any satisfaction. If he's addicted to sex, he can't get sex in a ghost body. So, the ghost is very frustrated, and sometimes they do try to enter. Sometimes you see these people on Skid Row, East Hastings in Vancouver, stumbling, walking around, talking to themselves. They're ghostly haunted. The ghosts are trying to enter that body. I've seen it in Africa, the witch doctors. They contact the ghosts. And the ghosts have a superior position as far as the material world. They're not limited by this external shell. They can read the minds. They can have a lot of knowledge that we don't have access to. So, for example, someone goes to the witch doctor. Somebody stole my money. I want you to tell me who took it. So the ghost says, all right, I can tell you. But he makes a deal. The ghost occupies the witch doctor's body for some time. The witch doctor may drink. Say that ghost was addicted to alcohol. He may drink a whole 2 liters of alcohol. In 3 minutes I've seen it. Or take drugs or smoke some dacha, marijuana. And then the ghost tells him, okay, this person took it. Then he passes on that information, becomes famous as a witch doctor. The ghost goes away completely stoned, and the witch doctor is left there cold sober. I've seen it with my own eyes. So all these things are real, and the material world is hellish. Let's get out of here. Thank you very much.